All right, everybody, welcome back to the Move podcast, brought to you each and every time by Oura Ring. My Oura Ring data is not very good because, as y'all can hear, I feel like shit. I think I'm getting sick. George?
You don't sound very good. I gotta be
No,
honest.
I don't. And it's not, I'm here in outside of Tuscaloosa, Alabama. We came over here for Jimmy Johnson's very first IndyCar race. And so I know it sounds like it might have gotten rowdy, but that's not, I'm just sick anyways.
Damn, dude, you sounded fine. You were here 2 days ago.
I know I was fine then. And then I actually think I burned the candle at both ends in Austin when I was there. Oof. Anyways, so the Oura Ring, I mean, this is, my data is terrible right now because I'm not feeling well. But if all these things, we got that, what was the email we got the other day, JP, about, because we were going on about productivity and efficiency and all these things. And somebody emailed us about a wife and kids. Did you get that email about the ring? No, Higgs,
I didn't see that.
Higgs sent it to us. It was like, don't have a wife or kids, get better sleep.
I saw,
I remember that.
Oh shit.
Well, Lance, we need you at your best form. This is your week. Amstel Gold Race, Liège, Bastogne, Liège.
It is my week. It's the week of the Ardennes. This is my week. I would not be at the front of the race this week. I'm not feeling good. Anyways, head on over to Oura Ring, OURA ring.com to get all your vital metrics. Don't be like me right now. Today's show also brought to you by Roka. I love this company, based in the city that probably kicked my ass a few days ago, Austin, Texas. A bunch of great athletes, Rob and his whole crew over there. These are my go-tos, whether it's my seeing glasses, whether it's my riding glasses, or just chilling out. Those titanium aviators. I'm just, every time I see myself in the mirror, I say, damn. I say, self, you're looking good. 20% off for our listeners on their first purchase. Head on over to roka.com, ROKA.com. Discount code THEMOVE for 20% off. Our last one here for a sec, LMNT, which I actually really need right now. My hydration go-to. This is the one. This is the one for me. And actually, I am going to go hammer some of this after this because I'm definitely coming down with something, but I sweat my ass off all the time when I'm out working out, and LMNT has been my one. It's 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, 60 milligrams of magnesium, no crap in it, no sugar, no artificial colors, flavors, nothing. It's the real deal. So you can also try out the 8-pack sample kit if you head on over to drinklmnt.com/themove. and get your sample kit for just the cost of shipping. drinklmnt.com/themove. All right, so let's talk about, and I'm going to do more listening than talking if you guys don't mind, but let's talk about Amstel Gold Race. And cycling never fails. It never fails to disappoint. And what the fuck is going on with this sport? The photo finish, and now they're saying the thing was not put in the right place. I thought it was funny when the banner like de-inflated and fell down over the road. This is, Johan, please,
well,
beam us up. This is stupid.
I don't, this is just thinking, they're not saying it was not put in the right place, but there's been a lot of going back and forth.
But if you watch it, I mean, I'm sitting there watching it on TV and I'm like, I don't think so. I don't think that's right.
Well, I mean, normally if you have the picture, you can see the TV images, then you have still pictures, and then you have the photo finish. So, once one would think the photo finish is accurate, right? The difference now is that, on the pictures they've published, there's some virtual lines, and these virtual lines are actually a little bit before the actual finish line. So then I would say, what's the point? What's the point of having a photo finish, right? Especially when it's such a small difference. Officially, and I guess it's going to stay this way, Wout van Aert wins, which, let's it's an amazing performance. I think after him, preparing for the classics, won Gent-Wevelgem, had a disappointment in Tour of Flanders, and I think, I'm not completely sure, but I think that initially Amstel Gold Race was not on his initial race schedule. He was supposed to do Paris-Roubaix and then take a break, and then Jumbo-Visma would focus on Roglic for Amstel, and then Liège and Flèche. He just switched it around after they canceled Paris-Roubaix, and won the race. We've talked about it in our predictions, George. For a Dutch team, this is the World Championships. It's a very important race. I've done it on Rabobank, and when I was on Rabobank, and it was stress, and it was super, super important. So,
correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, Johan. That was 20 years ago that a Dutch team won an Amstel Gold Race, right ahead of our
Eric Dekker,
team leader there.
Eric Dekker won Amstel Gold Race in front of Lance, and
which I'm fine with.
Last,
I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that. I'm not. I was not okay with Michael Bogert beating me in the sprint. I was not okay with that.
Yeah, but
I'd have bet my life I was going to win that day.
Well, who did you guys think won, in your opinion, from looking at the photos? And
I thought Pidcock won for sure.
Me too. I mean, my feeling, I'm getting different pictures, front angle from the top, from the sides, and then the photo finish with these lines, mysteriously all of a sudden a little bit before, like you can see here on the back of my screen. It just doesn't make sense. I mean, why are those virtual lines of the photo finish not exactly where the white line is? So
you saw the UCI commissar showing the video or the screenshot of the photo finish, real quickly, and he's like, "Yeah, look, you can't see anything."
on his smartphone. I mean,
George, who did you think won? He didn't say.
I mean, from the angle that we saw on the TV, like even the commentator said it looked like Pidcock.
I thought Pidcock won too. I thought Pidcock won too. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, such a small difference after such a hard race and all these climbs, and it was a repeat of a few days before, when Pidcock beat Van Aert, same sprint again. Van Aert led it out, and Pidcock came, and
say what you want. Van Aert, that guy's a mental machine. I mean, he just
unbelievable
lost to Pidcock 3 days ago. Same sort of scenario, but just kept with his confidence. He believed in himself. He said he likes the long sprint, and really just didn't waver from his strategy. And to win with that kind of pressure, with his team being from there, is just incredible.
From the front. And if I'm him, I'm like, hey, I'm not doing this again. Right? I let out the sprint 3 days ago.
Exactly.
And you beat me. I'm like,
definitely,
all right, my turn to.
Yeah. He has a lot of confidence, and the remarkably is that how he is able to come back from defeat, and even in certain races, I've seen him getting dropped, and he just keeps fighting. He never gives up, and I've heard stories about him also, about his mental toughness and being able to follow a strict regime, a strict training protocol, which, for example, is from what I've heard, is one of the reasons why Tom Dumoulin, for example, had to take a break. He wasn't able to deal with that, the way cycling is now. Everything's monitored, and everything's really programmed. And a guy like Van der Poel, for example, is a different type of rider, would not be able to function in an environment as Jumbo-Visma. Van Aert is. He is a robot. And
I'm actually really glad you brought this up, Johan, because I cannot finish this show without talking about my good friend, Mark Cavendish, who has told me the same thing many, many times, that now the sport is only about robots. These guys are doing 6-7 hours on the trainers, intervals all set. That's all they do. And last year in his voice, you could tell he didn't think he can do that anymore. Now, fast forward a year later, he just won 50% of the stages in Tour Turkey. And obviously he's on a much more monitored program with being on Deceuninck now, and the motivation is back. And I think we're seeing a Cavendish back to close to his best now.
150, 100. What did I just read? 150 career wins. Holy
exactly.
Hell.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. No,
I've been saying this. I've been saying the guy should hang in there. I've been saying the guys should hang in there and keep racing, and it'll all work out.
But I mean, we're all fans of Mark Cavendish. I know Lance, you and him are good friends as well, and
He's a sweetheart.
saw him go through some hard times.
He's a total sweetheart.
And I mean, this is not about Amstel, but it's clear that Mark is he likes again what he's doing, and I think it's about finding the right balance. For certain cyclists that have grown up in this system of everything is so programmed, that's okay. But the older generation, and he's part of the older generation, it's about finding the right combination between okay, we do this, but we still keep a little bit of our traditional knowledge. And it's about having fun on the bike, and young cyclists are having fun because that's all they did, and they like what they do. I guess an Alaphilippe, for example, is the same kind of rider. He must find a balance between a little bit following his feelings and following the strict training regime. But to come back on Van Aert is definitely a machine.
But Johan, and to come back on Alaphilippe, what are we missing here? Something's missing.
Yeah, no, it's not Alaphilippe that we're used to. He's there. The team works for him, and both in Flanders and especially in Amstel, which is a race which is really suited for him. He exploded. There was no excuse. He just didn't have it.
Yeah.
Something's not right. Also, if you watch all the races up until now, I mean, I feel like back in the day, we would have our days where we'd be like, okay, we're just going to sit in the bunch and kind of just cruise along, get some training in. I feel like all these top guys, they have raced full gas, 110% every single race, every single stage they've done since the season has started. And that begins to wear on you. Even when out, he didn't seem at his best. He didn't look like he was at his best at Flanders. And, for him to lose a sprint like that to Pidcock a few days ago was like, people are already starting to say, maybe he's tired, blah, blah, blah. And then for him to come back, and be there, the best guys, and still win in the same sprint that he lost in 3 days ago. Like you said, the guy's just a mental machine.
No, but we sort of talk about it in awe, but at some point it has to, you just can't keep going. Right.
And then that's on that note, Van der Poel is off on his mountain bike, correct? He's keeping it fun. He's keeping, his love of the bike in check, I think.
I don't know if
he's training for the Olympics, but
and Tom Pidcock, I just saw his schedule. On the 1st of May starts his mountain bike races in preparation for the mountain bike Olympic Championship in Tokyo.
So he's doing. Oh wow!
He starts on May 1st with mountain bike races. Yeah.
Wow.
Crazy.
Well, and that would be, I mean, talk about great for the sport of mountain biking. But I don't know that if these guys think they're going to roll up and just pounce on folks. I tell you, these pro mountain bikers, they don't play around either.
Like we keep saying on every show, it's like the playbook is completely a whole new canvas. Like we're seeing things that we never saw in our day. I mean, look at Roglic. He's racing next week, and then he's done until the Tour de France. His last race of the season is the end of April, and not racing again until July. I don't think we've ever seen that, especially for a favorite of the Tour de France.
Wow.
Well, they did. I mean, they're trying to take something away from the experience. So they figured out that Roglic traditionally he's not at his best in the last week, and they've seen that he's always great straight coming off an altitude camp. So they've decided that he would take a little break and then be on altitude and go straight into the Tour. I'm not worried. I think he's going to be ready without races. This guy knows how to prepare himself. He started Paris-Nice on a super high level without any races. And last 2 years ago, he won the Vuelta without any races. He did the Giro, and then he didn't race anymore between the Giro and the Vuelta, and he won the Vuelta.
I get it. So, I get it. It's just so hard to mimic the race speed and the race accelerations around corners at home and training, unless I'm sure he's got a whole team behind him when he goes out in training, but you got to be motor pacing all the time. the power to weight is one thing. He's going to have the numbers, no doubt, but those little accelerations throughout the day, especially the Tour de France, when it's just so nerve wracking and there's crashes and you have to be so mentally on your game. That's a long stretch without racing.
Wow.
It is. It is.
Hey boys, a little bit of business, and then I know you guys want to get into some other serious business that's going on in this sport, which I cannot wait to hear about. Today's show also brought to you by Kettle and Fire. I need some Kettle and Fire right now. The way I'm feeling, this is a Kettle and Fire kind of day. I'm under the weather. I clean, real ingredients, nothing, no crap in there. Something warm, something to bring me back. Nourishing food that satisfies even the strictest of diets, and mine is not always the strictest, but you guys feel for me. You feel that I need some Kettle and Fire? Definitely.
We do.
Kettle, we do. Kettle and Fire. And everybody else needs some too. Head on over to kettleandfire.com/Lance. 20% off on your order. Use the buy code Lance. LANCE. 20% off. Today's show also brought to you by Joovv. All of these things are going to make me feel better. If I had everything in front of me, red light therapy, I would be a new man. I'm always looking for stuff that's cutting edge. I'm always looking for an advantage. Don't make any jokes. This is something that I've been playing with for years. I got it down at the house in Aspen, and I just stand there 10 minutes in the front, 10 minutes in the back, twice a day. The red light therapy is the thing. And then, even posted up a picture of my crack the other day on Instagram, and Anna took that, she approved that, and that was a big deal. But the red light therapy is, and by the way, it's not junk. It is scientifically proven to work. So
I've gotten straight up addicted to using it, and I'm kind of we started the show a bit
you
earlier.
Actually you look better.
I look better, right?
You something about you. It's just something about you, dude. Head on over to Joovv. That's OOV, joovv.com/TheMove. Discount code TheMove. $50 off your first purchase of a Generation 3 device or Joovv Go 2.0. It's Joovv, JOOVV.com/TheMove. Boys.
Before we get into the new controversy, we got to acknowledge Marianne Voss's great race and another double for Jumbo-Visma.
Another one.
Yeah. Marianne Vos, and amazingly, this is the first time that she ever wins the Amstel Gold Race after such a long career. She's won twice on the Kouberg, but for World Championships. And in the fall of her career now, obviously knowing how to race, she tried to go with the first with the two strongest riders on the Kouberg, with what was her name, Nivadonna and Longoborghini, and she couldn't. But she stayed with that little group in the back, and there was no photo finish. There was the sprint was quite impressive of Marianne Vos.
It was still kind of close. She raised her hands about 10 meters before the line, and the girl who got second came up really, really quick. So that would have been a huge disappointment if she lost that. But like you said, she was alone in that group, and she kept her calm, she kept her cool, and for her to win, the biggest Dutch classic is very, very impressive.
Yeah, and another double for Jumbo-Visma. After Gent-Wevelgem, Wout van Aert won and Marianne Vos won. Now their biggest home race, both Jumbo-Visma. I guess the bosses are going to be super happy.
Yeah. Yep.
All right.
But what's the scoop behind Dumoulin? Is he on his way back, or is he?
Well, I tell you, and I meant to bring this up. It was nice to see him on the side of the road. Nice catch by TV cameras there. But what is the scoop, Johan? But it was great to see him. You don't come out and just watch a bike race go by if you're not, I don't know, moderately interested.
I think from what I've heard, he definitely wants to race still. He's training again, but like I said before, not with a strict schedule. He's training following his feelings. And from what I've heard, he hasn't figured out yet exactly what his future will be. You know, he does have a contract with Jumbo-Visma. And he's basically on undetermined leave. So he just took a break, said, okay, but his contract is still in place. So personally, you know, my opinion would be, you know, from what I see from the outside, right? I think Tom Dumoulin is still, you know, Tom Dumoulin. He's won Grand Tours, and he should probably start to think about finding another team, in my opinion, where he's going to function better, not with the stress of being the big Dutch leader of that Dutch team, because obviously that's a little bit of an issue, in my opinion, for him. And just find the pleasure again and the passion again of, you know, a little bit like Cavendish, you know, but find pleasure again in riding his bike and racing.
Well, he's on a team with a bunch of leaders. I think if he goes back there now, he sees that they are able to perform without him. I mean, look at the season they've had up to date. And, you know, even watching my pick on Sunday, he was Van Aert's guy. He was going after all the attacks. Looked really, really good, but you can tell he was putting it all on the line for Van Aert, in hopes that he'll be able to repay that favor of the Tour de France. And I don't know what happened to him in the Kauberg.
Well, you know, I mean, we saw, you know, in the last time of the Kauberg, which was a little bit weird, actually. This is another thing that I really didn't understand in the race, that why didn't they do the Kauberg in the last lap? I don't understand that.
It's so lame. I mean, you're going to have this iconic climb and finish, and, you know, from Amstel Gold history and the World Championship, all these things, and then last lap we're going to skip it.
Yeah, they do 12 times, and the last lap, no,
makes no sense. No.
Yeah, but anyway, so we saw Roglic going into the Kauberg in front, and then all of a sudden we saw him there with a mechanical changed. You know, needed a new bike, and so, you know, we live in the era of social media where, you know, everybody's a journalist and everybody can start a rumor or everybody can start a story. And I've seen a few websites, or one guy, it's always the same guy. We're not going to name him by name because, you know, he doesn't deserve to be named, but the same guy always comes back with stories and accusations or suspicions. And at a certain point, Roglic lifts up his bike and he turns the cranks, and the wheel turns, but the cranks also keep turning. Now, immediately, some people jump on it. The first guy, this guy starts the rumor and says, "Oh, you know, that this is an electric engine." You know, I mean, how can they even? But the thing is that the sad thing is that other media pick it up and bring that story.
Well, that's actually, the sad thing. I'm actually glad you brought that up, Johan, because I've been a little bit disturbed this whole week with media reports that I've seen. I mean, how long were we together for? And of course, all of our dirty laundry's out there, but we've seen it all. Everybody knows everything that happened. But Lance, I got to ask you, so all these years that I rode with you, you also had an engine in somewhere in your bicycle, and you had the push button start on the top of your butt crack. Is that correct?
Secret button. Wow.
You know, people always
on this.
Yeah. People always were wondering why, you know, and the truth is not good. Okay. The real reason where the ass / crack has to line up with the chamois, that has to line up with the seat, that has to line up with the legs, and that's how you pedal. It has to be perfectly aligned. That's a bullshit story. Okay. I always said that, but in fact, I had an on and off switch right there in the shorts. So every time I would reach back, and you can watch the clips they've compiled on the internet, you can see an actual acceleration of an upping of cadence. That was my on-off switch, was there in the short. So every time I would reach there, you know, I always said, I'm just trying to get my crack and my chamois and my seat right. No, that was the on and off switch. How fucked up is that?
I think we'll show the video
now
later.
It's truly all out there. Johan, by the way, Johan, the fact that you find these things on the internet and send them to me, do you think I watch this shit?
Well, you send it when you watch it when I send it to you, I hope.
I mean, you're sending me stuff with this moron, Philippe Brunel. This guy from L'Equipe. This guy thinks he's Picasso of cycling, and he's sitting there talking about. I'm like, child, please. I am way too fucking busy to watch this crap.
But I mean, listen. I mean, I agree with you. But unfortunately, unfortunately, these morons, print books, and we had the American TV channel making a story about it. I mean, it's
we
crazy.
did.
Crazy.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Yep. That was our old friends. They were behind that one, the 60 Minutes piece. And when we say old friends, which friends.
I'd love to find one of these, alleged bicycles that had the engine in there somewhere, because I wouldn't mind checking it out and riding it.
Well, if anyone's ridden with Lance, you're still hitting that butt button. You still do it all the time.
The problem is it's not working anymore. I mean, I still do it. It's funny because when you sent me this, I was out. I'm finally back on the bike because Aspen's thawed out, and I found myself just doing it, and I'm like, well, goddamn. I'm like, it's not working. It's not working.
I got an idea. If we put in the new kit designs, we got to put a button on there.
Actually, you're not just another pretty face, JB. That is a fucking great idea. Just a little. Is it a push button or a little switch? What are we thinking?
Put a little arrow, like a little dot with a little arrow here. Push here.
Go fast.
Oh God,
go fast.
That was just. I mean, the thing,
I don't remember Bluetooth working that well back in their mid 90s.
Oh, did they say it was Bluetooth?
Well, where else would the cable be?
There's no cable.
Butt crack.
The cable's in my crack.
Okay, so okay.
I mean, the funny thing is, Lance, you think or you say that that everything needs to be aligned, and that's why you did it, and that's probably what's going on in. Yeah, but that's probably what was going on in your head. But I am convinced. Since you're still doing it now, it's just this is a tick. It's a tick. It's a mental obsession.
Yes,
it is.
You always,
sure.
I mean.
No, it's also you're right. It's a mental obstacle for sure.
And hey, there we go. Now I'm happy.
It is definitely a mental obstacle. Oh God. Anyways, all right. So we got Flesh Wallonne coming up this week.
Flesh Wallonne and Liège-Bastogne-Liège.
Yes. Well, but first things first. Flesh Wallonne on Wednesday.
Yeah, so is the course the same this Wednesday, or have they made modifications?
Yeah. No, it's the same. It's the same. Still Mur de Vie and
going back to Amstel. I think we should discuss the circuit. Is a big change in that race. I mean, not only did it go from 266 kilometers to 215 or 20 kilometers to 16 or what? How long was the circuit? 16K.
Well, I mean, in Amstel, it was actually only 210 kilometers. It was not the
That's a big difference. Although I don't
think the race was only excuse me. Hang on. The race was only 210K.
Yeah, because of the there was circuits, they made it shorter.
Well, and there you go. I mean, that was the reason you didn't want to pick Pidcock. Right, Johan? Just the distance, but the 210 for a young guy is a lot easier. Huh. I should pay attention to these things.
Well, I didn't when we made the predictions, I didn't know either. So
by the way, we should let everyone know those predictions are going in the member portal now. It's a new thing we're doing for the We Do members.
I'm gonna go drink some hot tea or something to try to feel better. Not good. Bad day.
Off day. You shouldn't drink it. Listen, you shouldn't drink any coffee. Yeah, coffee's not.
And you're in my part of the world right now. I'd ask you to come visit, but I don't want you bringing whatever you got going on into my home. So maybe you can stay.
I got a long day. We're going back to Austin. We left the kids in Austin, so we're going to go pick them up, and then we're going to go back, and then I'm going to take them to Aspen, drop them off, and then I'm going to go Palm Springs, play some golf. I'll be doing Flesh Wallonne from Palm Springs. How you like me now?
You better rest up.
Well, yeah, exactly. Confirm that in a few days.
Yeah.
If you're feeling good enough.
Hey guys, you've known me a long time. This shit doesn't stick around with LA. Okay.
We all get older. I mean,
Do we have a Hershey report? I mean, JB picked him for Sunday. I don't think we saw
A lot
much
of people.
action out of
There
him.
were a lot of people were talking about him actually.
Mm.
Yeah, he had a good odds.
I do actually have another news since this morning. I mean, I haven't found it anywhere, but somebody told me that there's something going on in that team. In it's DSM now, and then before it was Sunweb, and Hershey was the 6th rider who left that team before the end of his contract. Now number 7 is about to come. Still has a contract for 2022. This Australian guy, Jay Hindley.
Huh.
Well, that's their MO. These guys, I mean, they do a great job in finding super young talent, and they sign them for long-term deals and not pay them very much. I mean, apparently that's sort of their MO.
Yeah, okay, but obviously the manager makes money because he sells them off because they have to buy out the contract. But then on the other hand, I'm asking myself, do these sponsors always agree? Why? How do these sponsors always agree? Because these are star riders. I mean, Hershey left left this winter. How can a new sponsor, DSM, who bought into this team probably because of this guy, agree with that? There's something not right there. Well, I hear that a lot of riders are very unhappy.
We need to put you on that beat, Johan. This is the kind of shit you figure out for us, because I promise you, none of us are going to figure it out. Get to the bottom of this, please.
Yeah. I still have my sources within cycling.
We know that. It's funny, we call each other, I don't know, 10 times a day, and if we just didn't have anything to talk about, we'd always start with the same thing. It was like, hippie news.
Hey news,
which means, do you have any news? Any news? No news.
Yeah, there always needs to be news, man.
Always scoops.
Well, let's do this. I'll share a good email with you guys, and you can
Okay.
comment on it, and then we'll break and do our predictions for the members. How's that sound?
Okay, love it.
This is a good email. It's from Scott Holland. It says, I'm catching up on the
That's
podcast.
that's a perfect guy to email us this week. Scott Holland. You see what you did there? Are you sure this is a real email?
Yeah, this is
Legit. I mean, last week it was Joe Belgium.
No, this is for real. But he says there was a listener when you were doing the Ghent Wevelgem show who asked what the best cycling towns are. I know you guys were focusing on road cycling, but for mountain biking, you guys need to come visit Bentonville, Arkansas.
Yep.
On a summer family road trip, we visited and promptly went home to San Diego, sold our house, and moved here.
Wow.
Trails are better than Colorado, better than Utah, better than SoCal. The community is amazing. Come visit. That's from Scott.
We in Scott, we might have beat you there. George and I went there. We did one of the Rafa Prestiges years ago. Gosh, George, what is it, 2 or 3 years ago?
Yep.
With our buddies Tom and Stu, and we had like, I don't know, 13 flat tires, 12 or I mean, it was ridiculous. But you're right, Scott. That town is certainly for mountain biking, but don't discount the road riding or the gravel riding. Hundreds and hundreds of miles of single track, and the infrastructure there is next level. So you're not going to get an argument out of us.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I haven't ridden the trails there, unfortunately, but it's on my bucket list. Lance, I hope we can get back there sometime and ride the single track. The gravel riding was amazing. The road riding was super good, and it's a great model, I believe, for other cities to follow, because it's brought a lot of people into the town because of the cycling network that it has. Yep,
no doubt. All right, everybody, thanks for tuning in. Well, guys, let's stay on a little bit here and make predictions for Flesh and maybe even Liège for our members. But everybody else, thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you Wednesday.